Alright, I know I'm a little late to this, but I kind of wanted to wait for some of the developments to all kind of come together and whatnot, plus my personal schedule has been a little wacky recently, and I've got some stuff going on. Nothing, like, serious or anything here. I'm okay, my family's okay, that's all good, but, like, I've got some stuff going on, right? Like, it's been kind of taking my attention away, so I don't know if you guys have heard the news, but YouTube has a new tax policy in place that is absolutely insane, right? Like, this has already gotten so much backlash, this has already gotten so much flack. Even, like, US creators who aren't necessarily even going, I think, to be affected by this, have been pretty vocal about it, because it's so I don't know, I don't even know how to describe it. I understand that, like, it's gonna happen regardless of whether or not we say it should. I mean, I'm fully aware, right, that, like, if Optimus drops a video talking about this, that, like, the IRS and YouTube aren't gonna come together like, bro, maybe we didn't do the right thing, like, maybe we should just let this one go. Like, I know that's not gonna happen, but first I want to take a second to introduce the sponsor of today's video, MeUndies. Look, I'm gonna be honest, man, I sit here and I make YouTube videos all day, I have to be comfortable while I'm doing it, and sitting around in some regular old boxers you can get from the store, that's just not cutting it. You need to step your underwear game up, and that's where MeUndies comes in, man. They have all the colors you can think of, they've got awesome prints, it really doesn't matter, you can express yourself in any way that you want. The folks over at MeUndies sent me a package, gave me some products, and I gotta say, I was pretty impressed. And on top of that, MeUndies has their own membership, which is a monthly subscription that actually will send you new pairs of underwear right to your door. So guess what? You don't even have to go to the store anymore. And on top of that, there's site-wide savings and exclusive sales for MeUndies members, which means you're automatically going to pay less for everything. And for you guys, they've also provided 15% off and free shipping for any first-time purchasers. To get 15% off of your first order and free shipping, go to MeUndies.com/Optimus. That's MeUndies.com/Optimus. And step your underwear game up, folks. Thank you to MeUndies for sponsoring today's video. I feel bad for international creators on this one. I feel bad for people who have no, I guess, skin in the game here in the United States, who are now gonna have a very significant portion of their earnings taken from them. Pretty much unfairly, in all reality. In a daunting news for the YouTube creators in India and outside of the US, the search engine giant Google has said that it would begin deducting US taxes from payments to creators as early as June 2021 from creators outside of the United States. Earnings from viewers in the US through ad views, YouTube Premium, Super Chat, Super Stickers, and channel memberships will be taxable. Google said that it would soon be updating its terms of service for creators outside of the US, where your earnings from YouTube will be considered royalties from a US tax perspective, adding that they had already made this change to US creators' terms of service in November of last year. Over the next few weeks, we'll be asking you to submit your tax info in AdSense to determine the correct amount of taxes to deduct, if any apply. If your tax info is not provided by May 31st, 2021, Google may be required to deduct up to 24% of your total earnings worldwide, Google said in an email to creators. Google AdSense program allows a faster and easier way to display relevant Google ads on your result pages. The move will impact the earnings of the YouTube creators community in India and other countries too. There are more than 1,700 Indian YouTube channels with more than 1 million subscribers as per the latest data. Okay, so there's some deadlines to this that I want to explain. So if you submit your paperwork for tax info for this whole change before May 31st, apparently it's only going to be up to 15% of your earnings from viewers in the United States. Okay, so I like, let's say, I don't know, you live in Great Britain, right? You live over in the UK. If you submit all your tax paperwork to Google or whatever by, like, you know, let's say you do it on like April the 2nd, okay? The rate is going to be 15% of your earnings from viewers in the US. So I guess it's not going to be like an international fluctuation, but only from people watching videos in the US. But if you don't do it by May 31st, your total earnings may get hit by up to a quarter. Now, you guys might be like, oh, well, Optimus, what's the big deal, right? Like, you gotta pay your taxes. No, well, I understand that. I mean, I paid my taxes. I've done it for years through YouTube and whatnot. The problem is, these are people paying taxes, basically in the United States, for not even living in the United States. Now, these are independent creators, independent businesses that are running globally, right? And Google, of course, is a US company. YouTube is a US-based platform. And just because of that, they now have to pay money to the US government? Like, that's such a stupid fucking concept, you know what I'm saying? That's such a horrible, horrible thing. There is absolutely zero reason that someone who lives in France, who's not a US citizen, has no family in the US, anything, right, should have to be obligated to give the US government a fucking dime. Now, of course, the argument is that, well, part of their business operations is based in the US because they use Google and they use YouTube and whatnot, right? But I think that that's such a stupid concept and such an ignorant thing to kind of apply, because they essentially have no choice. I mean, what video platforms really exist that you can make money off of except for YouTube, right? International creators and US creators are essentially forced onto YouTube if they want to do this for a living. There isn't a viable competitor yet. I mean, Storyfire and all these other websites, sure, they're great and they've got their perks and they've got their cons and whatnot, but they don't have enough to compete directly with YouTube. They aren't a platform in which people can directly compete with YouTube yet. And who knows if they ever really will be. And then you also have to consider, what is the US going to spend all this extra tax revenue on, right? We're going to build some more tanks that are going to sit out in the desert and never get fucking used? A good amount of it's just going to get funneled into the bloated military budget. It's not going to go into anything we actually need. I mean, the highway system in our country is decaying. The bridges are like a D+ rating. The infrastructure is like a D- rating. We rank like 42nd in the world in education. But we're not going to be using any of this extra YouTube tax dollars to fix any of those problems. Of course, it'll be used to fund some sort of proxy war in the Middle East, or to do more global positioning with the Russians, Chinese, North Koreans, and Iranians. So it's not even like it's going for a good cause. I feel like people, maybe if the US actually spent their tax money efficiently and on shit that mattered, maybe wouldn't care as much. Maybe it'd cut it down a slight bit, but I too would be pissed if up to a quarter of my money could be taken from me to build some more fucking fighter jets. And then, I don't think most people know this, but the split for YouTube revenue already is fucking absurd. Now, forgive me if I'm wrong here, but the total revenue split on YouTube already is 60-40 in favor of the creator. Which basically means that, you know, let's say you generate $100,000 in a month in ad revenue for YouTube. You get like 60 grand. Of course, that's nothing to complain about, right? That's a lot of money. But YouTube takes a pretty fucking sizable portion of the revenue that you're generating, right? And then when you already consider the tax purposes, right? The 40% cut that you get, you know, depending on your tax bracket, where you live here in the United States, like things like that, right? They can end up taking like half of that too. Like, taxes are already no joke when it comes to how much money they're going to be taking from you, especially when you got to pay like double the like medical benefits and stuff because you're technically self-employed or whatever. Like, you end up getting completely decimated on taxes a lot of the time. And now that they're also going to be from what you're getting, right? You're not even like considering the taxes in your home country. So you get that 60 grand, you break a quarter of that off, right? That's $15,000 going to a country you don't live in, you have no basing in, nothing to do with, you don't vote in, anything like that. It's essentially taxation without representation, which is exactly what the United States fucking fought against and fought independence for. It's literally a complete 180 on the founding principles of this country. The only difference now is we're the British. We're the British Empire now. We're the American Empire, you know? So they're going to take you down to what, like 45 grand there. And then you have to pay your home taxes on that, right? Which, you know, could be like half of your money, right? So it's getting to the point where, like, out of that 100 grand, right, $100,000 you generated in revenue, you realistically may only see like $25,000 out of that. And that doesn't even consider the fees and shit that YouTube puts on other things. The thing about super chats and things like that I hate, they're good ideas, right? Help YouTubers branch out their incomes and whatnot, you know, diversify from the ad system. But they take like a 70% cut or something crazy. It's either 70 or 30%. It's one or the other, but it might be 30% now that I think about it. But they take a fucking absurd cut. So if you donate $5 to a creator live streaming, they're not getting $5. You know, they're getting like $3.80 maybe. And YouTube takes a cut from all these different things, which are meant to support the creators directly. And you got to understand, right? Yeah, I get it. They're running one of the biggest platforms ever. They're doing all these things with servers. They got to keep the company afloat. But these things are already things that people are getting fucking hammered on, right? And they're already now going to be seeing another big cut from it. So now the big thing, though, that's kind of a problem. The United States is one of the global, I guess, hotspots for YouTube, right? It has one of, if not the largest established YouTube viewer base, okay? It's a place, even if you're an international creator, like, you're going to see a massive amount of your views and stuff come from the United States. Especially in like English or Spanish speaking countries, because obviously the United States has a very large English and Spanish speaking population. So like if you live in Mexico, right, and you're making vlogs of Mexico, right, going around Mexico City or whatever, you might see like 35% of your viewers come from the United States, but they, you know, predominantly speak Spanish or whatever, right? And because of that, you basically are now getting fucked, right? So it sucks, but it's something I don't think anyone can really fight against. And to be fair, this is not YouTube or Google's fault directly, right? It's not really their fault. I mean, they could have done better, I think, in actually getting these issues resolved beforehand to where it wasn't a problem now, and people could have gotten the controversy out of the way years ago, or maybe this wouldn't even be an issue at all. I really don't know. But this is more or less like the US tax policy that's really at fault here, right? Like, it's so stupid that the government is doing what they're doing. This is basically theft, in my opinion. I mean, I know people say taxation is theft, and I don't necessarily agree with that standpoint, but when these people literally get zero fucking benefit to those tax dollars in the first place, I do think that it is theft. If you live on the other side of the planet and the only thing that the United States does for your life is they basically fucking occupy your country with 14 military bases, and you can get a Coca-Cola at the local corner store, right? What about that is representation from the United States? What about that, I guess, entitles them to tax money from you? Like, it's so fucking dumb. I feel bad for people who are gonna have to deal with this, man, because I know I'd be pissed if I lived somewhere else and this was happening. Or if, like, Google was headquartered in the UK and they thought they were gonna get my bands from me. Like, yeah, fuck yourselves. But I don't know. With that being said, though, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like. Subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel. Follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out Shop Opti down below. Thank you to... never mind, I don't do that anymore. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, mad about taxes, and signing out.